Selling Online Today, featuring Bruce from chilibugs.co.uk.
Be prepared to work hard. Treat your business as a business. It's not personal.
Making a great living by selling online is possible if you know who to turn to for help. Welcome to Selling Online Today, the show that features the winners of the online sales world sharing their stories of domination of eBay, Amazon, or their own sites. Here's your host, Patrick Conlin.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Selling Online Today. This is the show that brings you the best of the online selling world, and we are just thrilled today to have with us Bruce. And Bruce is from Chili Bugs Hot Sauces. Hi Bruce.
Hello there.
Thanks for taking some time to chat with us today. Now, Bruce runs this family business with his lovely wife, Mel, and they also have a full-time member of staff, Emma, and every now and again they also bring in some other people to help run this business. If I'm right, it's based in Northampton, I believe.
You're right, Northampton, yes.
Yeah, and hey, they've got chili sauces from all over the world. So, Bruce, I'm just going to hand it over to you if you can fill us in a bit more about what it is exactly you do.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. Thanks for the opportunity.
No problem.
Yeah, Chili Bug started back in 2003, so we've been running for about 12 years now. And we've been limited since 2007. As you said, we are a family business. It's myself and my wife. We have some extra staff as well. The reason why we do chili sauces, why we started the company, was actually inspired by a trip that we did to America for 3 months back in 2002. Coming across a shop in Delaware, a shop called Peppers. Walking through the front door, you're faced with thousands and thousands and thousands of different bottles of chili sauces. So it was like an Aladdin's cave.
Wow.
We came back to the UK and there was nothing in the way of hot sauces in the UK at all. A very, very limited range. So we started importing hot sauce from the States, and really we were just selling on eBay to start with. It was very much a part-time hobby, selling perhaps 10, 20 products a day, certainly to start with. Having said that, within the first year, the range had gone from 20 different products to about 150. Wow. So we knew it was going to be fairly successful. So we bought in more stock and sold more stock, and the range increased over the next few years to about 300, 350 different products. Again, selling on our own website, chilibugs.co.uk, and also on eBay as well. And that was pretty much it for the next couple of years. 2007, we went limited, and it became a full-time business for both my wife and myself. So it's pretty successful.
Yeah, it certainly does look that way. And I did come across your website because I wouldn't say I'm an avid chili consumer, but I certainly, my wife would say I can't eat anything without a bit of chili over it. So that would make me someone who consumes quite a lot. But Bruce, believe it or not, I actually lived in Mexico and had a lot of exposure back in the day to their range of chili sauces. And it was actually quite funny. The Mexican kids would sometimes, as a way of showing how macho they were or how strong they were, would actually eat a whole jalapeno, or jalapeno as sometimes it's called here, just to prove how strong they were. Now, have you ever heard of the Scoville unit? Can you explain a bit more of how that works?
The Scoville heat unit, yeah.
Yes,
it's pretty much a measurement of how hot or how piquant a chili pepper is. It was a scale that was invented by a chap called Wilbur Scoville in 1912, and it rates pretty much how much water, or sugar water as they call it, you would need to take all the heat away from the chili that you've just eaten. So, for example, a jalapeno chili is about 2,500 Scoville heat units. And
is that good or bad?
That's pretty mild, I would say.
Oh, jeez.
In the world of chili peppers.
There was me thinking.
No. That's one of the mildest. I mean, bear in mind, you can go up now to 2 million Scovilles for some of these peppers.
Wow. I see on your site there are some sauces there that even the name of them starts to make me sweat. They look so hot. And tell me this, Bruce, this is again just me trying to find out more. It's such a fascinating business. True or false? Does milk take away the burning sensation more than water?
Yes, it does. It does help relieve it. Basically, there's a compound in milk which will help cancel out the heat you get from a chili.
Yeah.
It's better if it's full fat.
Uh-huh.
Butter helps. Cheese helps. Anything dairy will help. Having said that, if you're going on to the extreme hot chili or chili sauces, then it doesn't really make a lot of difference.
Yeah.
Because they're just so hot, and it will last for a good half an hour, some of the burn.
It is mad how we're attracted to that sensation of that hot chili in our food. And as you say, in America, it did anyway seem to be very normal, the consumption of chili sauces. In fact, I noticed the first time I went to America, almost in every American diner, they had a Tabasco sauce sitting on the table.
It's part of the US diet, I think. They just are used to having it all the time.
So I'm sure deep down you're saying someday we'll have a Chili Bugs hot sauce on every table of every restaurant throughout the UK and Ireland.
Yeah, I mean, predominantly we don't make our own product here. So we will take in other people's products. So we're pretty much a supermarket in effect for chili sauce.
Yes.
So making it ourselves is not really our level of expertise.
Right. Well, that's a good procedure, and it certainly takes out all of the manufacturing end of a business and all of the implications which that has. I work with a couple of businesses here in Northern Ireland that actually manufacture their product and sell it online now, albeit there is obviously more margin for them if they're manufacturing themselves, but it does come with its own set of heartaches and health and safety regulation. And I imagine in the food business, that would be even more strict. So it's one of those double-edged swords where what end of things do you go for? But nonetheless, you have a superb range of chili sauces here. And I did wonder when I was researching a bit before the show where you managed to source all of that. Certainly, any business book that you read nowadays that's talking about setting up a business to sell online, they always talk about niching down and making it very niche. And it's amazing to think that a whole business can be catered for just in the area of chili sauces. It seems amazing.
You're absolutely right, yeah. I mean, niche is certainly what we do. We focus predominantly on extreme heat chili sauces. Mm-hmm. So we will stock mild sauces, but our main focus is on the extreme heat, stuff that you will not find in a regular supermarket.
Yes.
Because of the nature of the sauce itself, it's too extreme, too hot to be sold in a normal shop, I suppose. So it lends itself to an online business very much.
So let's just delve in a little bit more into the website itself. I'm going to run a few things by you there. You did say that you sold on eBay. You started on eBay?
We did, yes, we did. It's a way of testing the market to make sure there was a market out there, really at a minimal expense to yourself as a business owner. Rather than pay the money to create a website and then start a business, it's just a nice way of getting your foot in the market and to see, look, the idea is that we're going to do this, but is it going to work? And if it's going to work on eBay, you can then build the business up based on that. And we still sell on eBay now. You know, it's a bit of a love-hate relationship we have with eBay. The fees are not a pleasant part of the business. Having said that, it gives us access to a worldwide market that I think a standalone website, we wouldn't be able to even touch that.
No, and Bruce, I don't know if you agree with me here, because I have this conversation with business owners every day, and sometimes they have this misconceived idea that yes, eBay, yes, they take their 15% in the case of the shoe business. They take 15% commission on everything that's sold. But ultimately, on your website, if it's going to really succeed in the early days, you have to also plow in 15% of your turnover into Google AdWords or into Facebook advertising or some sort of paid advertising to get the person to your store. Certainly people at the beginning won't be going on necessarily and Googling chili bugs, hot sauces at the very beginning. They're probably going in and looking for the exact sauce that they're after and finding you, and then you're building your brand and continuing to market to them. Would you agree with that sort of philosophy?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. It's not very easy to, as you say, build a business that way, expect it to work, with a standalone website, there's a lot of cost involved, and it's the secret, obviously, is getting customers to come through your door, as it were, on an online site to actually see who you are.
Yes, and in theory, in a town, you're paying your rent and your rates to be on the high street, and there's a certain amount of people traffic or footfall, as they call it, walking past your shop and they're calling in. But in the online world, you have to kind of be jumping up above everyone else and saying, hey, we're over here. And whether we like it or not, Google's $1 billion business, and it is that way because they're saying, hey, we will get you in front of the audience that are out there and they're ready to buy. So when they put in hot chili sauces, that you will come up there and hence you'll be able to sell your goods to them. That brings me on to the whole area of the multi-channel end of things. At Selling Online today, we have a whole series of resources which help small business owners to look into that area, because what I find is that, yes, you have eBay, you also have your website. There's also another great marketplace out there, which is Amazon. Have you delved into that? What do you feel about Amazon?
We do sell on Amazon, but not directly. We actually sell through a third party. So we, in effect, wholesale to another company that sells on Amazon for us. The main reason for that is the sheer volume at this stage. It would mean taking on another permanent member of staff just to handle the Amazon side of things. So it makes sense at our stage to work with another company where we supply them with stock and they sell on Amazon. And they're pretty successful as well. That
certainly is the way to do it. Is your eBay and website linked up together, or do you just keep it a separate stock, or is it all?
They are, at this stage, they are completely separate. We are looking at melding them in some way, but at the moment they are two standalone sites.
In my own online business, Shoephoric, we just had to do it so early on, because if you think of the area of women's shoes, you had 8 different size variations for each shoe. So we found we were selling them in the shop, then we were selling them on eBay, then we were selling them on Amazon, then you were going to look for them and they were like, oh, it's that one, it's that colour, it's that shade, but it's that size, and we sold it earlier. And as you well know from selling on eBay, it's really strict and you can't mess around when it comes to order fulfillment. I was talking to a business owner recently who was all excited about the fact that he was now moving from his own website into a multi-channel scenario where he was also selling on eBay. And he was like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to sell anything. And I was like, listen, your problem isn't going to be selling the stuff. Your problem is going to be staying on top of the orders and fulfilling the orders that come in. And sometimes that ends up being a major issue for especially retailers that have a huge selection of product.
Yeah, I won't lie to you, it is an issue that we face as well, very much so. Selling on eBay, our own website, and then selling wholesale as well. Bearing in mind that the range of products we've got now currently sits at about 600 different lines. So yeah, it's something that we have been looking at and will be sorting out. But at the moment, we've probably done it a little bit too late, to be honest with you. We should have done it in the early days, but it's something that will need to be done pretty quickly.
Yeah, well, it is something which, when you eventually get it sorted out, it's such a relief. It's something which even technically you think, wow, I just sold that pair of shoes on my website. It automatically deducted from my stock on Amazon. It automatically deducted from my stock on eBay, which ultimately also then, if you have a point of sale in the case of many shops where the person's coming up to the till and they're buying, in this case, say, if it were a chili sauce, they'd be scanning the barcode, and that would then be deducting also from their back office, so that you never miss an order. And more than anything, then, if it sells online, at least you have it and you don't have to manually go in and deduct it. So there are benefits to that. Just delving in even to the whole area of the products, do you take the photography yourself? Do you upload it, or do you outsource that to someone else?
We do outsource that to somebody else. Yeah, we don't take the photos ourselves.
Yes, and the photography is key, and I see your photos are well taken, and obviously they've got a lovely crisp white background, and eBay now recently have stepped up their policy regarding photography, that it is important that it's on a white clear background, that there's no logos on it, that it's very much crisp and clean so that the consumer or the potential customer can get a nice image of what exactly is being sold. So there are a lot of tools out there to help businesses in particular. Is there any sort of tools or any, I don't want to say secret sauces because that would be like boom, boom. Is there any sort of thing within your world of e-commerce that you recommend or that you like, or is there something that you couldn't live without?
To be honest with you, we tend to outsource most of that to a standalone company called Digital Paint, and they will handle all that side, the marketing, the taking of the photographs. So they would be more au fait on that side of the business than I would personally.
Yes, well, that's good to know. My question when I was looking at your site was, what about breakages? What about postal concerns? Is that an issue for you, or do you find that everything arrives safe?
Pretty much most things arrive fairly safely. In the early days, we suffered from breakages, but there were certainly two things that we do now differently in the way that we send things out. We use the Royal Mail predominantly for single orders, but we'll ship them out, and we'll ship them out unlabelled, so they don't have a company logo on, which is a big help actually, because it's you're kind of sending things out, and whether, I don't know, people think, oh, there's a sauce inside it, so we'll toss it in the bin over there or something like that. But we seem to get a lot less breakages now that we do that. So it's sent out blind, basically. They
may actually be more careful knowing that it's a or at least feeling that it may be a personal package as opposed to a company. Fire it over there, sure.
Absolutely.
It's a company, they'll replace it if something goes wrong. That's very, very interesting and definitely it's a good tip. Have you had any weird experiences in your whole online business? I'm sure you have loads, and we don't want to be putting anyone in particular in the spotlight, but have you had any sort of like unexpected orders that you've woken up and thought, wow, I wasn't expecting that?
Oh, we get them all the time. We do. We get them all the time. We've had orders from all over the place. Bearing in mind that I suppose now it's at least 30% of our business on the retail side is export. So we're shipping out to mainland Europe a lot, Scandinavia a lot, Australia, USA, Japan, but you occasionally get the odd country that it does make you think, where on earth is that? And we've shipped to Greenland, we've shipped to Turks and Caicos, and it's just some really interesting different places that you end up shipping sauces to. We even ship sauces back to the US, and these are sauces that we import from the US, and we ship them back over there. Crazy.
I was actually going to ask you that. I was thinking to myself, I wonder, sometimes we buy shoes from a German company and we end up selling them back to people in Germany.
Yeah.
Isn't it mad?
Crazy.
But hey, that's the beauty of the internet. You're opening yourself up to the whole world, which is very hard for someone who isn't in the online business to actually appreciate that, because they're thinking, oh, no one's going to buy my little... I was talking to a fellow last week who manufactured his own hats for almost like something you would use in stage productions, but they looked like they were simulated metal hats, and like armor plated and stuff, and for Vikings and for all sorts of things. And I was saying, man, you would be surprised who might want that. You need to get your little niche site up and running and start to explore it, because people may not want it round here, but you never know who might want your product. And that's the beauty, I suppose, of the online business itself. What about the area of social media? This is one of these buzzwords that has cropped up over the last few years, Facebook and Twitter. And do you find that helps your brand?
Yeah. Okay. We do use Twitter, which is okay. Facebook, we don't use a lot of. We are not the world's best at social media, which is, again, something that we're looking into, because I think we probably are missing a trick on that side of things. But
it certainly helps certain industries, and it's one of these things. How long is a piece of string? How much time, Bruce, can you possibly spend on social media without neglecting your own business?
Yeah.
And the problem is there are markets that are mature to a certain extent, and everybody thinks they're an expert on Facebook. I found a lot of business owners would be coming to me and saying, Patrick, no, we have our Facebook sorted. My daughter's 15. She's on Facebook all the time. Therefore, she knows everything. And that's not the case. Just because, I know how to plug in my printer doesn't mean I'm a good electrician. So sometimes bringing in someone who really knows their stuff can make a difference. But at the same time, it's costly. It really has to come down to how many sauces have I sold off the back of this campaign. Otherwise, there's really no point. What's your opinion on the whole idea of review sites? Do you implement reviews, or is that something which you would stay away from? I know that I don't have any on my own website personally, almost because I'm afraid of it. Yeah,
on the website, we don't. We don't. On eBay, obviously, we do.
Yes.
And on that side of things, it's actually a good system, the feedback system they have. Because it does, from the customer's point of view, it's pretty transparent. Mm-hmm. It's what people look at first if they're going to buy, or if they're not going to buy, to see what the feedback rating is. So we do pay a lot of attention to customer service, because it's reflected in the feedbacks.
Absolutely, on eBay, definitely. And, as Felix Dennis used to say, he's a famous English entrepreneur, he would say there's no victory over customers. They win at all costs. Have you ever had a case where someone will actually call you up and say, no, I want to send that sauce back, it's too hot?
Not because it's too hot. We have had for other reasons that it's not hot enough. Or
wow.
It's very difficult because heat is so subjective.
Yes.
You'll get we have some extreme heat stuff which will blow anybody away. Yeah. We have other stuff which is more mild to medium, and it depends upon what heat tolerance you can take.
Yes.
But we're happy if they want to return it. That's not a problem. They can return it to us. We'll pay the return postage.
Really? Even if it's been opened?
Yes, we will. The reason for that is, yes, we're selling customer sources, but we're selling customer service first. Mm-hmm. And we have to be the best. You can go elsewhere for your sources.
Wow.
But, and it's a cost, initially it's a cost, but you get repeat orders. And then they'll tell their friends about you.
Yeah, that takes customer service to a whole new level. I almost wasn't even going to ask about that, because I thought to myself, well, I'm sure it's like everything consumable. If you open it up, well, tough, you've opened it, so you can't return it. But that's amazing. That's definitely good customer service.
It can help us as well, Patrick, because rather than just the website, we also do the occasional chili festival or food festival. Mm-hmm. So we can take things along and we can use them as testers, providing they are not contaminated anyway, so we can use them. But yeah, it's something we offer. Most people don't even take us up on it, but we want customers to come back. Mm-hmm. And it's a short-term hit for a long-term gain.
Yeah, well, I know that we ourselves would be very, very careful that when we send out our packages that we would include a little bit of marketing in it to try to direct them back to our site with a little offer or discount code that would have a limited period of time. And we find that actually does help. Now, there are certain rules and regulations. One of the big questions that the majority of small businesses will be asking is, how do you direct your customers afterwards to your own site? Because ultimately, who owns the customer? Is it Amazon or is it eBay? So you can't directly talk about your website on your eBay store, strictly speaking, but, there are ways of afterwards perhaps putting in something into the parcel that will help direct them to your site, and I think that's essential.
It's what we do as well. There'll be a covering letter and everything we send out, and it will be directed back to the website with a discount. Mm-hmm. And an explanation about returns, if they need to return, which number to call for customer service or any questions. Mm-hmm. But it's always trying to direct them back to our own website.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And do you find that there's much help out there for the online retailer, even in the business world, or do you feel that you're pretty alone in your quest to conquer the online world?
We stand alone, to be honest. We don't seek a lot of outside assistance particularly. I think the resources are there if you choose to search for them. But in terms of support, I suppose a lot of online businesses, by the nature of the work they do, they are very much on their own in some ways. They are the ones who have to make it stand or fall.
Yeah, they do indeed. And it is nice sometimes to be able to talk to other businesses that sell online. Certainly at Selling Online Today, we every now and again would organise a little Google Hangout, which, as long as we're not competing areas, we try to have one from each sector. And it's amazing how little tips and tricks that sometimes help. I find when I talk to other online business owners, as I call them, the area of postage is something that we're always talking about. How do we fine-tune that? How do we take advantage of, especially for businesses that are based in Northern Ireland? Our biggest marketplace is obviously the mainland UK, and we have the issue of, well, there's a water mass between us. So especially large items, it's not just as cheap to send them across the water. So we're always talking back and forth about what the best way is forward, and how do you get around breakages, and what about sometimes the claim process back after a parcel has been lost. Sometimes it's so hard, it's hardly even worth your while.
Yes.
But it's all part of the business, I suppose. Well, Bruce, listen, it has been absolutely fascinating chatting to you today. So if you were to give any advice to someone starting off an online business, what would you say to them?
I would say, I suppose the obvious one is be prepared to work hard. Mm-hmm. And the lesson we learned is treat your business as a business. It's not personal. Mm-hmm. And if somebody leaves you or contacts you with negative comments, just try and take it as an opportunity.
Yes,
because it's so easy to take things personally, and
I know.
And you can lose customers very easily that way.
I know, and as we said earlier, there is no victory over customers, so you may as well be nice to them.
Absolutely. And at the end of the day, they don't expect you to be perfect, but they do expect you to fix a problem when it goes wrong.
Yes. Well, if you had a magic wand in your business, what would you like it to do for you? I suppose you'd like it now to synchronize your eBay and your website all in one, but is there anything...
That would be nice.
Wouldn't it? Just
to
have it all sorted out. I don't know if with 600 products you may even have a back office system that you use for your warehouse, I suppose, to scan stuff in and scan stuff out. Yeah.
Oh, we have to. We couldn't survive without it,
Yeah, exactly.
If there's one thing I think I would wish for with a magic wand, it would be to be able to master the social media side of things as well, because I think that's an opportunity that we are not particularly strong at. We need to work on that.
Ideas are already bursting in my head. Imagine that even the viral videos you could make with hot sauces.
Yeah, we do that.
Yeah.
we use a company that specialises in online videos, so we send them sources free of charge and they do the reviews for us.
Oh, yeah? Wow, that's pretty good. Yeah. So it is a world out there. No, it is definitely very useful. We find it even with Shoephoric that, especially with the local people, that they would definitely see a lot of our stock on Facebook and would be calling us up afterwards and saying, can you reserve that pair for us? And it's amazing what even a short video can do, just showing them the sauces, or in this case would be the sauces and what you can use them for, and it's bound to help. Well, we wish you the best of luck with that area of things, and absolutely thrilled that you were able to spend some time with us today. I'm sure our listeners will find it all really, really useful. It's really good to be able to delve into a proper online business that's doing well. Your products look absolutely amazing, and I would encourage people to head over to chilibugs.co.uk. You mentioned Twitter. Do you have a Twitter address that people can also contact you on?
Yes, we do. And I can't remember what it is because I don't handle that side of things. Sorry, Patrick, to be vague.
No, it's okay. We'll put that up in the show notes later because on our website we'll have a summary of the interview. So we'll get the Twitter address too, and we'll pop that onto the show notes so that our listeners can also find a way to contact you that way. Bruce, thank you very much, and we'll be in touch.
Excellent. Thanks, Patrick.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care. Cheers.
Take the time right now to go to sellingonlinetoday.com and gain instant access to tons of free resources to help you in your online selling journey. We'll see you next time on Selling Online Today.